Is that for the good of the child?
All Cassie and Rhett want to do is to raise their children in a loving and safe home. What they don't want is to be continually harassed by the Victorian government and live with the fear that their 3-year-old son Cooper will be taken from them for the crime of giving him cannabis oil to save his life. Here's Helen Kapelos and Darren Hinch with this week's dramatic developments.
G'day, mates. Up there, come.
After he was born, baby Cooper contracted meningitis, leaving him with cerebral palsy and violent, life-threatening epileptic fits.
Time to get up.
His parents, Cassie and Rhett, are certain that cannabis oil, stripped of the ingredient that makes drug users stoned, saved Cooper's life.
We've gone from planning a funeral to planning a life.
But after going public on Sunday night, they were raided by the police, harassed by Victoria's Department of Human Services, and just this past week asked to appear before 4 members of Victoria's Child Protection Authority.
What's the worst case scenario in your mind?
2 worst case scenarios, I think, to me would be, one, them trying to stop the treatment and Cooper going back to where he was medically, or them trying to remove him.
For weeks, we've been asking for an interview with Mary Wooldridge, the minister responsible. On Friday, she finally agreed. Minister, thanks for your time.
Good to be with you.
You put out a statement some weeks ago in which you said, I think I'm quoting you correctly, and you said, as a parent, it must be one of the hardest things in the world to watch your child struggle with illness or disability.
Absolutely.
How can you equate that with what's happening to little Cooper? Because he's struggling, he's hurting.
And that was a direct response to Cooper's story that I put out, that statement, understanding the context. I think it is incredibly difficult for his parents and obviously for Cooper in terms of what he's experiencing.
A raid this morning?
Yes. They took all of his supply, all of his medicine. They wanted us down at the...
Just over a month ago, what Cooper's parents experienced was a police raid where his cannabis oil was seized. Police raided the house, took away the cannabis oil. They hauled Cassie and Rhett down there. They had their mug shots taken. They were fingerprinted.
Well,
is that for the good of the child?
Let's get the facts right in terms of that. Just in this past week, Child Protection sat down with the family and had the conversation that they had about both what the role of child protection is, but also to listen to the family, to get their views on Connor's Cooper's situation, and what they were doing to provide for his well-being. All reports is that was a very positive meeting, and the only remaining step to take was actually for Child Protection to meet with the child himself.
So this agency potentially can take your child away from you.
Yeah.
Is that something you're worried about?
Absolutely.
And how have you felt about your parenting skills being questioned?
Well, we're only trying to help our son, and to be questioned as not doing the right thing by your child, it's a horrible tag to be hit with, when at the end of the day we've given Cooper a better quality of life.
So you feel like you've been judged?
Yeah.
My feedback is that it actually was a productive meeting, one that happens, I've got to say, regularly. When we have notifications that an illegal substance may be being provided to a child, it's incumbent on Child Protection to investigate. So this is a normal course of
yeah, but your department and the police department, this goes to Ken Lay, the commissioner, you've almost had this attitude in my mind that, like, they've got this family of druggies out there who are feeding pot to their child and they're going to run off to Byron Bay. Now, this has never been further from the truth. This family, as you know, have no criminal past, have no other complaints ever before DHS to neglecting a child. All they've done is tried to save their child's life, and they've been hauled up before the cops, hauled up before your department as if they're criminal. Now, that's wrong.
And for you, this is potentially the difference between life and death for your son.
Yes. Yeah, you can clearly see the difference in him before and after.
You'd be aware that the cannabis oil that he was being prescribed, that had the doctor's approval, had the hospital approval.
Well, we've also, Child Protection has sought advice from the hospital, and those discussions are ongoing about what happened in the hospital and who was involved in that decision making. So once again, those discussions are underway to just be really clear about who was involved, knew, and whether they agreed to that or not.
So these are medical records obtained from the hospital?
Yes. And that shows his medical cannabis documented, given in hospital.
So the doctor's written the doses right next to medical cannabis?
Yes, that's his morning dose, his lunchtime dose, afternoon and evening. Cooper, and hold low again.
You've already gone through the police raid, now the meeting with DHS. How serious does this all feel to you?
Doesn't get much more serious than having your home raided by police and then having your parenting skills questioned by DHS. I think that's pretty serious.
But in this case, what makes it different is that your department has the power right now to take that child away from his mother, don't you?
So already what's been said to the family is we think they're acting protectively. We actually think they're doing a good job, not only for all of their children, and they have a number of them, that we don't have an expectation that this is going to lead to a removal of the child, because what Child Protection looks for is, are they looking after the well-being and the safety of the child? And all the evidence says yes. So that's why we have to sit down and chat to them. That's why once the Child Protection Officer next week meets with Cooper, I expect the outcome of that will be that Child Protection will close the case and we'll move on.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Darren.
And we hope that's the end of the matter for Cassie and Rhett, and that they can go on and raise their family in peace.